everybody.
Hi, everybody.
It's Friday, and I'm here with all my friends. We're going to play PoliTarology for an hour or so, and I'm very, very happy tonight to be with everybody. And we're welcoming Val back from her vacation. Yay!
Yay!
Thank you. And yes, also, so that's one thing we have to celebrate, but also I have something very serious to talk to everybody about. I want everybody to realize that it is the beginning of the Advent of Saint Buttigieg. This is very serious Advent. This is a ritual that takes place every time we have a presidential election for a woman. And this time we have 17 days, and every day we can thank our lucky stars for something that Kamala is going to do when she gets into office, or something that Saint Buttigieg is going to do too. So I want everybody to light up those candles and light them every night and do something fun for Saint Buttigieg, and realize that the election is very, very close. It's just a little over 2 weeks away, 17 days. And we were just talking a bit backstage. I've already sent in my ballot. I think Shari sent in hers. And Gerald and Cleo and Val have received theirs, and they're all getting ready to vote. And we want you to vote too. So if you haven't already voted and you do have an opportunity to vote early, vote early. That's what I'm saying. All right. So we will go around the circle in honor of Saint Buttigieg. Everybody can say their little spiel. And I don't know if you guys know, I do have my Buttigieg candle burning behind me with a candelabra just to boost it a little bit. And I'm very grateful that we are going to elect the first female president and the first woman of color in the United States this election. This is a very big deal. Another reason to celebrate the advent of Saint Buttigieg. Thank you. Okay, Shari, take it away. What's going on with you? What's happening? How are you feeling, by the way?
I'm feeling a little better today. I'm feeling definitely better that I have the borrowed car back from the mechanic and can actually go places and not have to call Lyft or bum a ride. That's a pain in the backside.
Yeah.
I got a personal reading tomorrow, and then Deborah Zackow, Clarity Tarot, is going to be on my channel tomorrow afternoon.
Nice.
I like Deborah a lot. And then slumber party tomorrow night, and that's all I can remember at this point. I don't know. Everything else is a blank to me.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope you cure that condition soon. Hi, Gerald. How are you?
I am well. I'm glad to be here. I have tomorrow I'm doing readings with Sun Psychic Jean and Wisdom Seeker Joan. And then Monday I'm doing some readings with Linda de Gonzalez and Purple Elephant Deb H. And then on Tuesday I am introducing a new hashtag at 4 p.m. on Tuesday with Jamie, Zane, and Medium Betsy Palmer. So like and subscribe so you do not miss that.
Very nice. Sounds wonderful. Okay, Val, welcome back.
Thank you.
How was your vacay, and what's going on for you?
It was fabulous, and I'm glad to be back. Happy to be with all of you. And tonight will be Story in the Cards, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, and it will be Allie, aka Alice, and Marina and I. So please tune into that. I'll be hosting, and we'll cover a lot of the stuff.
Nice, very, very nice. And a big welcome back, Val. We really do.
Yes.
Thank you for that, Colleen.
Yeah. And Cleo, how are you?
I'm doing well. I did have something going on Monday, but that's again something I need to talk to you about. I'm not going to be able to do that. But on Thursday, I've got the Golden Girls, and I am hosting, and we all know what a wonderful job I do. I mean, people should show up just to see how many times I can.
Now, Cleo, stop that. You did fine with the Mystic Four.
I did not. No, I didn't. I didn't do fine with Mystic Four, but thank you. And then on Friday, I've got the Crone Oracle, and that's all I've got going on for this week.
Lovely.
And to add to that, Cleo, you have hosted Golden Girls before, and you did
Yes.
a fine job of it.
Yes.
So,
Well, thank you. And I love, it's fun. It's fun to host that show. The other show, the Mystic Four, that was my first time hosting something where we were doing personal readings, and I was under the impression that it was just going to come from my channel, and that Gerald was actually going to be host. I mean, I'm hosting it because it's on my channel, but that Gerald was going to be doing all the work. And then when I got on and I found out that wasn't the way it was, I thought, I haven't thought this out.
I thought
So
you
I
knew
just gotta
that
play it by
because
ear, okay? I played it
you
by
have
ear.
stepped up beautifully. So
Yeah, nobody could tell. Nobody could tell.
Yeah, it was
No,
great.
you're
Yeah, okay.
fine.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you did great. You did great. Okay, so I'm still kind of limping along trying to get my mojo back with the channel stuff. I keep messing things up, but nobody knows except for me and the people I work with. So you out in YouTube land are just blissfully unaware of all the things that are not happening on my channel. But we do have the advent of Saint Buttigieg, which I'm very, very grateful for. This is a deep spiritual devotion for me that I hope you will all join me in. And of course, it's going to be sending great, powerful, positive energy to the Harris Waltz campaign, which is really my raison d'etre for at the moment. So without further ado, do we have some questions yet? I don't see any, right? Nobody has
no questions.
no questions.
Did you want to put a banner up?
Sure.
Just a question. I
That
mean,
would be a good idea.
Lucky said that she finished her ballot today and deposited it in the Dropbox.
Very good. Good for you.
I want to know if Trump's cognitive decline from the 39 minutes of swaying, did he have an episode? Or was that just one of his?
Oh, good question.
That's great. Let's do that question. Okay. So how are we phrasing that? Did he have an episode?
I want to
why
know
he did
because
it?
is this the beginning of his cognitive really steep decline, as shrinking Trump people are saying, and their professional psychiatrists saying this is it. What?
Well, that is progressing.
His word salad was so bad, right, Cleo? When he was on this latest talk where some people booed him, he couldn't string anything together and make a sentence. He word saladed things together that made no sense whatsoever, not even for Trump.
Yeah.
He reminds me more of my mom and her end stages of dementia every day.
Yes.
Every time I see him, I'm thinking, okay, that was 6 months before she passed. Okay, that happened, 8 months before she passed.
Yeah.
Oh, that happened like 2 weeks before she passed. I mean, all
it's like
these
a
little
milestone.
signs.
Yeah, he's hitting the milestones of progression. And they said he's at a point where it looked like he just fell off.
And that is the way dementia works.
Yes,
I mean,
they said it's the way it works.
It can go on for 10 years, and then all of a sudden, and people are aware of those people that have dementia, that there's something wrong, but maybe they haven't even been diagnosed yet. But then all of a sudden, just one day they're one way, and then the next totally different. And also the people with dementia have a worse time in the evening. Rather, and I think, I was watching him at that dinner that he went to, and I can't remember what the hell that was all for, but I thought, well, he's kind of acting more normal through this. It wasn't a rally. But then he did kind of get off on saying just stupid things where he was talking about that this was the first time he'd been in New York where he hadn't been in front of people talking, where he hadn't been indicted. And I thought, well, boy, that's really, You should probably just shut up about that. But, I mean, I thought he was doing better there. And then when he went to his rallies, he just became unhinged. So it's hard to tell with him which end is up, but it's almost like he could fake it if he wanted to.
Well, and then don't they, Cleo, go if you're going through dementia, there are moments when you're lucid.
Oh, yeah.
There are
Yeah.
some of those. So you just hit a sweet
Absolutely.
spot on that one.
Exactly. But then, and then it can, it's like a light switch. I mean, that's how quick it can change. That you
Yeah.
can be talking to
And I
somebody.
think
My mom, it was like the first 8 years from the time it was diagnosed to the time it passed. The first 8 years, we used to tease her about her Swiss cheese memory because it would just be like holes and stuff. And,
Yeah.
She would forget how to do this or forget how to do that or try to talk about something and get it mixed up. And it just steadily got worse. But I noticed with my mother, the way it went with her is she would kind of like cruise along at a certain level and then she'd have this drop off.
Yeah.
And it would be a new level and she would cruise along at that new level and then she'd have a drop off.
And
it tended to happen after she'd go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
And the next morning when she'd wake up, the drop off would have occurred and suddenly she's
right.
lost stuff. It got to where it got difficult to get her to go to bed and sleep because she knew she was forgetting more things when she'd wake up in the morning. And so she didn't want to sleep. And and towards the end, she couldn't hardly talk at all. I mean,
Well,
after she had the
that's
seizure,
where
she
Trump
couldn't speak.
is.
I think so too.
I think
Colleen.
it's not the beginning. He's been
Oh,
in
no,
it.
no.
They started talking about his decline 8 years ago. So that's,
there's
maybe 10
stages you
years
hit,
ago.
and
Yep.
there's these drop off cliffs you hit, more than one. They
Yeah.
happen, and you pretty soon it's like Shari said, boom. It's like you're almost.
But
It was just 2 weeks before my mom had the seizure and went into hospice care.
Yeah.
That she had one of those crying binge days where she just cried all day. She didn't know why. She didn't know why she was upset.
Yeah.
I got her to take a nap and she woke up from her nap still crying. And I was sitting next to her trying to figure out how to comfort her when she suddenly whipped her head around and looked right at me. And it was my mom looking at me, not the person that she had been the last few years. And she just looked me dead in the eyes and said, I don't want to be like this anymore. And then she was gone. It was just like she was back into that hole.
She gave you
she gave me that gift of knowing that I know what's happening and I don't want to do this. And then 2 weeks later, she had a seizure, went into hospice. And 2 months after she went into hospice, she passed. I mean, after the seizure, she couldn't talk at all anymore.
Yeah.
She could just kind of grunt and stuff. And she couldn't walk anymore. She was stuck in a wheelchair at that point. And I mean, this is a woman that would run circles around me. She was so active.
Yeah.
So it was hard to see, but
Oh,
I've been watching him steadily go down this decline, and I compare it to what we went through with my mother, and it's like he's going down fast this past year, really fast.
Yeah.
Well, and especially since August.
One thing that he said recently that I don't know if it was at the dinner or if it was at a rally, but he was talking about he didn't want to talk about what happened in 2020 because he's still saying that it was stolen from him. But he was talking about if the election was rigged. No, if the election wasn't rigged, he would win. But if it was rigged, he would lose. I thought, oh, isn't that perfect? Because you are going to lose. So now he's going to say it was rigged.
He's preparing.
Yes, he's preparing us.
I mean, same as he did before.
Yes, it's the exact playbook.
Yeah.
He hasn't changed it.
Well, I pulled some cards on this, and I used that lovely deck of the United States, which is really a fun deck. And I can see what's really bugging him. What's really bugging him is the Queen of Swords. I don't know if you can tell who that is.
Oh my goodness.
Mm.
Looks like
Nice.
Hillary.
It is Hillary.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Hillary had been saying this all along, so all of her birds are coming home to roost. And he's really mourning the idea that he has lost all capacity to perform the Eight of Pentacles. This is Tesla in the card.
Mhm.
But he's lost all capacity. And that, he just wants to go back to the way it was. This is the couple from Oklahoma.
Right.
As the Two of Cups, and he's really mourning that. It's because he sees he's headed for imminent death. And look at that rider. What does that remind you?
Oh my goodness.
Interesting.
That looks very interesting.
Yeah, right. So that's his destination, as it were.
Yes.
And the last card is the Lovers. He's going to have a lot of people around him, I think, who will help him make the transition from candidate to patient, because I think that's the transition he's got to make.
Yeah.
And I just threw a few clarifiers on there. And all of this is about all the stuff that's just in his face. For instance, the Four of Wands comes up, which look at this pair.
Oh.
Or we know what that means, right? It means, a happy outcome to the election. And we do have the Nine of Swords. He's going to raise a ruckus. He's going to raise a fuss. But will it be him or will it be the people around him?
The people
Because
around him.
Once
Yeah.
they take him into the patient mode, we're not going to see him for real anymore. It'll be like Putin. They may even employ doubles. They may try to pretend like he's still there and fighting, because the American people probably wouldn't accept Vance just stepping into the role.
No.
But it will
Yeah.
be Vance and Peter Thiel pulling the strings,
Yes.
and it will be, Trumpy in Patientville. And the final card, I think, is very interesting. Who do you think this represents?
Oh.
Hmm.
Isn't that Oprah?
It might, I don't know if it is. It looks like her, but I think it's really representing Kamala.
Yeah.
Princess of
Oh.
Cups getting what she wants, whatever. So I
Divine
I
feminine.
really think that this, not only is his dementia really just completely decompensating him, but I think that also there's some level of him realizing and just spinning out of control, because all of the forces on the other side are really succeeding.
They
And
really are.
And he's really not.
And
Like,
he's
Yeah,
he's
go ahead.
really tired too. He's getting
Yeah,
so
he's
tired.
That has been clear since August when he started canceling everything.
Yeah.
He's given up
He
on a
has
certain
given
level.
up.
He's really given up. So
What you got, Gerald?
Yeah. What did you have, Gerald?
Well, going to the question as I phrased it is Trump sundowning,
Oh.
and I got a very solid yes. And whilst you were talking, Colleen, and in his transition from candidate to patient,
mhm.
I got the Six of Pentacles, and the image that I got is he's losing parts of his memory. They're just falling out, and he's
Yeah.
not able
Yeah.
to control it. And
Yeah.
I genuinely hope he does have a support system to help it, so that these don't fall completely out, that he's got some support to make that transition to the patient, because that's really hard. That's
Yeah.
regardless of what you think, that's it's hard when that happens. So
Yeah.
because I'm
I
thinking
totally,
about
pulled
you,
a few.
Shari,
agree.
talking about,
Oh, go ahead, Gerald.
I was thinking like what you were saying, Shari, when you were watching your mother. There's a lot of sorrow with that, and so there's going to be a lot of people watching him.
And I tell
Yeah.
you who will not be helping and watching him as the patient, his family.
Correct.
No,
They
don't
will
care
be
about it.
nowhere. They will not be any
Yes.
part of this. They will be washing their hands of it. They'll be buying real estate in Dubai and parts unknown, and they will be skedaddling if they can.
Yeah.
So
I totally.
I really
I
don't. think
totally agree. And I got this fire. This is what's happening in his brain. It's like a whole war zone. And the people around him are going to be really having to take charge. Well, not that they haven't already, but they're not doing a very good job of it. And what's going to happen, they are the ones pulling the strings. This is always Russia kind of influenced people. But here is the final card. And, he's going to be in this place that can't be reached, whether he's on planet or off planet, if you get my meaning.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Well,
So
I've always seen that when it comes to election time, and it's never made any sense to me really, because it could mean many different things. But I see when it comes to Trump, there is a vacant space. They're just vacant. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means. That could mean a number of things, that he's physically not there, or that he's there, but he's not mentally with it, or, that he already hopped a plane to somewhere else. But yeah, I mean, I've always seen that. But I just didn't believe that because the way things were going, that it would happen by election time. I thought it would be after that, but timing is
well, we had that time jump where where everything sped up by 2 years, and well,
it sped everything up. It sped everything up.
Didn't we see that this was, this is about the time that we were talking about we were seeing his health deteriorate.
Yes.
This was under the wings.
Oh gosh. Yeah, like the death card. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did have that explosion thing, the brain thing too. I mean, Meister Tarot has been predicting that just continuously, and I feel the same way.
Yeah,
I feel just the same way.
He's feeling very alone right now, is what it is. I pulled the Hermit, and he's feeling very, very alone, very cut off, even though he's surrounded by people. And then I pulled the Six of Cups, and his mind keeps going back to reminiscing, nostalgic. I think that's what it is with the music, because most dementia patients are reachable through music, because there's something about music that connects the brain transmuters, whatever, to fire
the neurons.
It's like my mom couldn't remember our names, or couldn't remember, how to blow her nose or whatnot, but you put on the radio, boom, and she would know that song and sing right along and not miss a word of it, and just. And the last card I pulled was the Queen of Pentacles, and I think that's Kamala. I think she may be the one who leads everyone into, we need to really pray for this man and get him help.
Sure.
I mean, because that's just her way of being.
Yeah.
And
And Teacher Barbara is pointing out it is the long-term memory that works, not short-term. So we remember those songs from way back.
Right. Right.
So, Colleen, I was going to ask you, you were talking about this thing in the head. Did you ever come up with any timing on that, and when that could occur?
Right about the end of October.
Okay. All right.
And here's the other thing too about the people who are going to end up taking care of him. One thing is that declaring him a patient will help Susie Wiles and Chris Lasavitas off the hook. They will no longer have to be tortured pretending to be the campaign managers anymore, because that's just got to be the worst job in the world for the last year. That's just got to be the worst.
God.
But there will be people like Walt Nauta, he'll take care of him, and maybe that other guy who didn't turn on him, he'll take care of him. The guy, who is it that's running Truth Social for him? Is that Nunez?
Oh, yeah. It's
I would have said Nunez.
Oh
But
my God.
Nunes is being indicted for embezzlement against Trump in at X. So I don't think, or what's it called? Truth Social. Sorry.
Yeah, true
So,
social.
so that probably won't work. So I wonder if Elon will step in. Yeah.
Oh gosh, don't give me the cold chills.
I don't think so. I don't think
No.
so. But there'll be somebody. There'll be a few people. He only needs like, I don't know, 6 or 10 people around him to really take care of him, because he'll be a basket case. He'll be a mess. But
Yeah.
what I feel is that they're not going to let the public know. They're going to hide it.
Yeah.
Because what
Mm-hmm.
would
Absolutely.
they do? What would they? This is why the readings were so crazy about this election. We
Yeah.
didn't see that it wasn't going to be Joe, and we all saw that perhaps the big orange guy was maybe not going to be there.
Yeah.
And I think that's because this downfall of his is going to be, well, it is coming fast and furious. And I
Mhm.
think that somebody is going to be smart enough to step in and say, maybe it's what was the chick that was on the stage with him when they were dancing? Christy Nome?
Yeah, Christine.
She looks like she'd be smart enough to, she knows how to put a dog down.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That she might step in and say, guys, you can't let him out in public anymore.
Yeah, she probably will.
And
because they were saying, oh, she had to practically be his caretaker on stage. Well, do you want to play that one last song that we talked about?
Did you see her? Yeah. Yeah, she's stepping right in. She's going to be Nurse Ratchet, and Walt Nauta will be the cleanup boy. That's how it'll go. But I don't think that I think they're going to try to get him out of the public eye.
Yeah.
And I think Mr.
Oh,
Teal,
absolutely.
I bet Mr. Teal would be more than happy to pay for a whole suite of servants to take care of Trumpy. Just then his boy can get out there in front and start wowing the crowd. But the American people are not going to accept Vance as a substitute for Trump very easily. So they got to make it through the election. They got to argue the election and try to make it seem like Trump didn't lose. And then they'll put Vance in there as
I agree. And I just threw the cards really quick. I got that fire again. This thing is going on. But, this is what's happening to his body. Not that he's a drunken sailor, but I mean, this is what's going to happen to him. But they're going to surgically remove him in a way at the proper time. Because, disappear him down a tunnel.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Grim Reaper again. But here is the takeover. Here's the angsty teen that comes in to take over the spot.
Yeah.
And it told the story just as clear as day.
Yeah, they gotta keep it really on the down low.
It's going to be on the down low.
Yeah.
For sure.
And remember when Vance first was picked, that's also it's what I said. I don't know what I can't remember what you guys all said, but I do remember thinking and feeling since then very strongly. Vance only took this position at the behest of Mr. Teal and with the mission of, you will replace him.
Correct.
You will.
Yes,
100%.
Because there's no other reason that he should be there. I mean, except that he is Mr. Teal's plaything and he'll do whatever he wants. But that's so weird.
On the other hand,
it's a weird thing.
Vance is the most unpopular VP ever.
Yeah.
And then after they did the debate with Waltz, and his popularity went up a little bit. Well, it's already fallen way down below.
Well, he's even more unpopular than Spiro Agnew.
Yeah, amazing.
Amazing.
Saying something.
Amazing. And that's why I'm saying they're not going to be able to just replace. They're going to have to kind of shuffle it in so that, there's no getting around it now. He is the VP and Trump is really the president. And so if Trump is unable to serve, Vance has to go in. So that's the dance that they have to maneuver. Problem is Trump's not going to win. So they're going to have a hell of a time proving that Vance is really the VP.
Exactly.
So I
think you called it. You nailed it because it's happening around the time you said. I mean, yeah.
Well, and Arthur kept saying, and he's been saying this since like January, February,
He has
that
to
he
be
just
alive
didn't
too. He has to
see.
be breathing.
Yeah, you have to be breathing to be president. But he just kept saying, I just don't see him around. And around May, June, every time I started to try to read going forward, it was just like a blank space.
That's how it was
Trump
with
was
him at
supposed
the,
to be.
you know,
And at
when,
first I thought, well, maybe it means he's gonna be part of the unalived people, but now I'm starting to think it's just his mind's gonna be completely gone. And that's what that blank space is. It's just there's
Right.
nothing there.
Vacant.
you remember when we read on the convention, the GOP convention, and we never, I didn't even see him there. I didn't even see him.
Right?
So there's something, right, Colleen? There's something
Yeah.
about
Something
his
really-
absence.
Yeah,
of-
it's very mysterious. It's very occult. It's very sort of, eighth house behind the veil. We're not going to tell
Yes.
anybody. I'll tell you what it is. It's very skull and bones. And,
Yes.
Mr. Vance knows that club very, very well. So it's very, very, go ahead, Gerald.
Well, I was doing a reading while you were talking about, Vance being the vice president and then doing that. Yes, it's, Vance would be the vice president to be able to be slid in there, but it's going to be a real challenge because there's too many eyes on the whole thing. Too many people are looking at it because the action is the Knight of Wands. So it's going to try to be quick, but it's also going to burn. It's going to be charismatic. It's going to be fire. And, and like you said, Harris will be president. So, and that will be a clear victory. Scene.
Yeah. Well, and I think they'll try to keep the argument going for quite a while, but they're not going to succeed. I mean, I'm not saying at all that they'll succeed. I'm saying this is their plan.
Yeah.
And I just threw some more cards on just, how will their plan succeed? Will they be able to go over this? And I got the Magician. So yeah, Peter Thiel is going to be pulling some strings along with Vance, but they got the loss. They got the 5 of Cups, big loss. They're going to try to juggle things around. We got the 2 of Pentacles there. In the end, it's a 6 of Swords moving away. And again, we get Mr. D.
Yeah.
Just not happening.
It's all making sense. It's
Right?
all coming together.
It
And we're seeing,
It is.
it's all coming together, becoming more and more clear.
And haven't the readings been so hard to get clarity for the longest?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
not
But it's
all
like
of
the closer we
2024,
get, the more
but
sense they're making.
since
It's
like
like,
the eclipse, really, I think. April was, I think. Am I wrong? Am I just making that up? Or
No, that's about right.
No, yeah. Because there's so many, and this is a void. It's it's a portal, it's a spiral, it's a drain, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And every reader, any reader worth their salt will be honest and say, I don't know what's going on here. I can't get any information about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, let's try to take some of those starred questions now.
One of the first ones is from B.A. Haven. Can you put that up there?
Sure.
Will Washington State vote Democrat?
Oh, sorry, Shari. Go ahead, Shari. You do it. I'll stop clicking.
And yes, Washington State always votes Democrat. But this time around, definitely, there was a thing on Channel 5 News, I don't know if it was last night or the night before, that showed Harris way ahead of Trump in Washington State. And also on the governor's thing, I want to mention, because I'm a big fan of Bob Ferguson and do not like Reichert at all. I just don't see that he's the least bit qualified to be a governor. And he's, Ferguson is up in the polls as well. Plus, we have a lot of other voting things going on. But yes, I see, it's going to be Democrat. It's going to be Ferguson, and it's going to be Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
Yay. Fantastic.
Yeah. And I got the watchdog. They're seeing what's going on and they know how to vote for blue. So there's the world card. It's a done deal.
Great. Anybody else? We good?
I got the Knight of Cups reversed. I just pulled a card. So I mean, we're already seeing it in his moodiness. I mean, he seems to get angry with Trump, and I think that some of that is starting to filter into some of the blue states to try to throw them off a little bit. I think it's important that we help especially our Democratic leaders, kind of keep focus and not let that come in, but kind of keep focus away from it and focus in on what they're actually doing. And I think that's going to be a big help for them, just to.
Yeah.
Well, in Washington State, we are a little bit split between Democrat and Republican, between Western and Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington is more prominently Republican, but there's the population in Eastern Washington is much less than Western, so that's why we end up usually going, well, I say usually all the time going for Democrats. So. I do see that as a positive for this state. Plus, I see it going up and down the coast: Oregon, California, Washington, Democrat.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I got yes. It's going to be Dem. It's going to be closer than what people would like.
Oh,
Is what I'm feeling. So
everybody get out and vote.
everybody needs to vote. Get out and vote.
Absolutely.
Please vote. Okay, so I think for Teacher Barbara's both her questions, I think we've answered that.
Yeah.
Will trumpets come unglued, and is he sundowning? Yes and yes. So okay, then we can go on to Sukialal. Hello, do you see eventually after the Trump cases, Judge Chutkin will be on the Supreme Court when Kamala gets in? Yeah. But let's read cards on it. Let's let everybody put in their 2 cents worth.
I think it's gonna, not immediately. I think Chutkin likes where she's at right now, and she's got.
Doesn't she have about 400 January 6 cases to get through?
Exactly. So I don't see her going in that direction right away, but she would be a great candidate for the Supreme Court.
She's going to be a little busy.
Yeah. All right. Who else? Who's next?
I'm just getting a slow down, probably because of what she's been doing, like you said. But right now, this thief makes it feel like she's not going to be called on for this kind of thing. It's going to look very partisan if they pick her under the circumstances after she goes through the trials that she has. It's really going to look like we're hardcore picking the liberals. So I think it'll be a little New York minute will pass before. But I see her on the Supreme Court. Yes.
And I got a definite yes, but not soon because she's going to be busy and there needs to be a bit of time and there needs to be an opportunity.
Correct. Yes.
So,
Well, I got 2 yeses and a no. I got the Temperance and the Knight of Wands as both yeses, and I think that pretty much.
I think that's from a lot of her stuff on there.
A lot of balance.
Yeah,
she's very passionate about what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yes, please. But then I drew the 5 of Cups, and so I think she may regret if she steps away too quickly.
Yeah.
And then again, she may regret if she holds back too long. So I think that's where that balance is coming from. She's going to have to, if she's offered that position, she's going to have to really be careful that she moves with the right timing, that she doesn't jump in too fast and leave all those cases left hanging for other judges to maybe come along and stir them up. At the same time, she doesn't want to lose her opportunity to move forward in her career, because
Yeah,
that's a big deal to get put into a
Yeah.
justice position.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I agree. It's not going to be right away because Kamala is going to have her own docket full trying to pick replacements for Alito, Gorsuch, Roberts, Thomas, and Barrett.
Heck yeah.
And
Oh,
those,
hell yeah.
and those are all going to have to be happening sometime between now and the next 12 months, I think. I think that's maybe 15 months. I think it's just going to be pretty quick that she has to fill those. Alito looks like he's coming up on charges, as does Gorsuch, even quicker than Alito, which is kind of surprising. Thomas is going to go run for the hills and claim that he has a bad back or something. Roberts is going to be burned at the stake. Nobody likes now that his choir robes have been burned. He has nothing to hide behind. He looks like
They've lifted the skirt and seen what's underneath.
yeah, it's terrible. It's like when Father Christmas opens his robes and then you see the little awful demons from hell clinging to his legs instead of the happy children. That's the image that I get for Roberts.
Yeah.
And Coney Barrett is not far behind them. She just hasn't been there as long and doesn't have quite as many corruptions and crimes up her sleeve. But I think all 5 of them are just going to be like and done within.
What jumped out, I had the sun just jumped out when I was shuffling.
Yeah, it's going to illuminate everything. And I
Yeah.
just got to hold up the card from this deck again. This looks like Tanya Chutkin.
It does. Yes.
That is her. And so what if they get rid of all this nonsense? They replace someone, but the one that they pick for the Chief Justice just can't serve. And somebody is ready to go then.
Then I could see that happening. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Yeah, it would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Toothpicks
Yeah.
Because I think things are happening so fast. I mean, Biden may even have to pick one of them. There may even be one gone before Kamala gets.
You're giving me I'm getting the chills.
Yeah.
Here.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
I just hit on something.
Yeah,
Really
I think one might drop before the whole thing goes on.
yes. Ooh,
But I think five before the end of 2025 or just barely into 2026.
Yeah.
Because these people are scumbags.
Yeah.
They just are scummy and they need to be gone. Okay, let's move on. All right.
I will remind everybody that while we're moving on, please give this video a thumbs up.
Yes.
Show your support for all of the channels. They are linked below. And verify that you are subscribed, because YouTube is doing weird things.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so
they've
much,
been
Gerald.
taking off of subscriptions left and right. I don't know how that algorithm works, but
when you get a prop, you got to use it.
You gotta use it. You gotta use it. That's great. That is great. Do I have my little skeleton fingers? I don't think I have mine around. I don't know where they went. Okay, so what's our next question, Shari?
It's a good one.
next up is butterflies, R3.
Is he losing support?
Because of his, yeah.
Oh, I think that's a pendulum question. Go ahead, Cleo.
He's losing supporters. I don't know if it necessarily from his latest episode or if it's just the accumulation of all the crap that people are just like, oh my God.
Oh, you had to use that word, didn't you? Crap. Oh.
And so, yeah, he is losing his supporters, but they're still the hanger-ons. I mean, they're still, I'm
getting a big yes.
I talked about this on the show that Marina and I did yesterday, was that some people just, they're thinking like we're thinking, except they're thinking of it towards Trump. As far as this one woman came on and said, Trump, they've just been on him so much, and he just wants to help the country, and he wants to save our democracy. And I'm like, No. What memo did you get? It's the other way around. But anyway, there is people that support Trump that believe that. So they're believing the lies and they're just, going with it. However, there's other people that are rethinking this because they see it. Some of the stuff he's saying, you can't just ignore it and like, well, that's just Trump. No, I mean, it's just crazy stuff. He doesn't stick to topic. He doesn't stick to policies. And they're saying, well, he did so much better on the economy. What the hell? Where have they been? He did not do. He nearly tanked the economy. He didn't do great on the economy. But anyway, yes, as far as his being so far out there, a lot of people are looking twice at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's bringing more of the Republicans who are on the fence over too.
Yes, and independents.
Yeah, not just MAGAs, but some
Right.
MAGAs are starting to see the light. And with this crazy behavior and some of the things that he's saying, a lot more of them are starting to put two and two together. I mean, I don't think it's a huge wave of voters, but I do think that there's people who are changing their minds. That's
Well,
really-
they need an antidote, and they don't have it. So once
Yeah.
they get something like that, they can go back to thinking clearly.
well, and that's why Kamala went on Fox.
Oh,
get-
and wasn't
get-
That's
that
right.
great
And
show?
I think people are making resolutions to change it up, and they don't want to give money down that rat hole anymore. They're
Yeah.
a little tired of just giving and giving and giving. And I got celebration for the final card, which I feel like they're going with the winning party, Kamala.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think these are the people who are the moderate GOPers who just, oh, he's in the party, so I'll have to vote for him once.
Yeah.
But this is a bridge too far.
Mhm.
They've seen too much. It's disgusting them. And
And what about those Republicans who had said, "Oh, I'm just not going to vote"? I think some of them are waking up too.
some of them are
Especially when
getting
you see
swayed.
Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney and Mike Pence, and even though he hasn't supported Kamala, he's all but, and all of these other Republicans. I mean, I looked up today how many Republicans supported Joe Biden because that cracked the ice, that
Yeah.
broke the ice, right? In his campaign, you did have Republicans that said, well, I guess I got to vote for Biden because I just can't stomach Trump. But there wasn't a huge amount. Now there is a huge amount. There's
Huge.
thousands and thousands of public speaking Republicans who are saying that they are voting for Kamala and not Trump.
And just to say something about Mike Pence, he actually, in the Jack Smith documents, he referenced that Chutkin just made a ruling on that they were going to go out today. Judge, so there was a lot of information in there on Mike Pence's book. Jack was referencing that book to show the planning and crap that was going on that Trump was doing. And it's in Mike Pence's book.
Yeah.
Things about that are irrefutable. So even if Trump has not come out and said, don't vote for him, or or I am voting for him, whatever happened, he's not obviously of that opinion. It's all in his book.
Right. All right. So that was the question about, I don't know what that was, but Shari, can you give us another question? Oh, look, the squirrel.
Oh,
I was muted too. Yeah, I don't remember now. I accidentally clicked on it and erased it.
Well, and it was a question of whether Trump was losing supporters because of the recent incidents.
Right.
And
Right.
my cards were yes, but not really. It's just a continual buildup.
Yeah.
And I think this is the thing. People are, it's little etch, it's a little tick.
A little poop here and a
And
little
there's
poop
been
there.
several people in chat that have basically asked the same kind of question. Artist Liz asked a similar question, but more around Coachella and the people he left there. And I think it's the same. I think
Book
those
Bewitched.
diehards are
No,
going to
that
stick
that
with
one
them.
we should read. The Book Bewitched question. I think we should read that one.
Corporate media.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like all those bus goers that were left there at Coachella were so egregiously pissed off at how they got treated. Period.
Yeah.
Done deal.
Yep. Now, Book Bewitched is saying, are the corporate media finally seeing the Trump demigod dementia? Yeah.
And Plucky Hair, a very similar question as well.
Yes.
We're starting to see it.
Yes.
Again, the fire, but they're finding their true north from all of that. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
But they want to shut up about it. They don't want to talk about it.
Oh, I don't know. Ari Melber was pretty clear about the interview with Bear. What's his name? Brett Bear.
There.
That Kamala did.
Yeah.
And then Ari Melber was contrasting that with Trump's nonsense.
Yeah.
They're coming around. Although Ari Melber has been better about it than all the other ones. But even Nicole Wallace now is coming around, and she's being very critical of all the stuff that Trump's putting out. And at least they are starting to come around. CBS, NBC, gently they are coming around. They have to point.
We're too close to the election, so they have to be really careful. If they start saying all this negative thing, they're not going to they're not going to come right out and say, look, the man looks demented. Has anybody noticed that? They're not going to do that right now.
No,
well, the speaking Trump people do that. So,
but what they are doing is they're showing the 39 minutes of music and him dancing.
They do.
They're talking about that and asking one another. This is CBS and ABC News. This is not even MSNBC. And they're saying, what was that? What was that about? They're saying it. And then right after, they're saying, well, Vice President Harris had a comment on Trump's Music Fun Fest or Music Fest or whatever it was. And she just asked, is he all right? They did that on regular media. Go ahead, Gerald.
Okay, so the question is are the corporate media family finally seeing the Trump, no, they're not finally seeing it. They've watched it all along. They've known about it. It's now they cannot hide it is the problem.
Okay.
Because I'm getting really strong no's to the question as it's asked. And then I'm going, okay, give me some clarification. It's because they can't hide it now. And so they've known about it. They just can't, they can't dim it down. So now they're doing exactly what you said, Colleen. They're saying, it's like, is he all right?
Yeah.
And then let people, make some informed decisions. So
yeah, because all these news outlets are owned by basically Republican heads who feel compelled to protect him. All it's going to take is one to really turn and not be all about let's elect Trump. And then the floodgates will open because that the rest of them are thinking it. They have to be thinking it.
They have to be.
These are people who have gotten to a very high level in their career. They are thinking, intelligent people. And they can't possibly believe that this person would be good for the country. Really. I mean, they got to be along with those other Republicans who for the last year have wanted to get rid of him and have somebody else. The only problem now is that anybody else is probably even crazier than he is. But
yeah, it's true. It's
anyway.
true.
Anyway, did everybody talk about this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's look at.
Seascape had an interesting question. Will any of the Democratic states challenge an outcome of an election in court where it's suspected that a Republican won cheating?
Oh, that's good. Let's read on that. Yeah.
I liked that question a lot.
Because
one of the ones we had read on earlier, Bern O'Malley had also asked a similar question. So I hope that
it's
answers
a gift. There's something that's going to happen, and it's going to end up being a gift. I feel like they will probably recount, and it's going to go in the Dems' favor.
Yeah.
So there you are. It's a gift.
This is probably going to be one of the most, the election polls, it's going to be so watched. I mean, they've been gearing up for this for at least a year, if not longer. They know that they know that the Republicans are going to do something to cheat. And that's why Trump is saying that it's rigged, because it is. He's trying to make that happen. So yes, there will be some, depending
shenanigans. There'll be shenanigans.
Shenanigans. That's a good word for it. That yeah, those things are going to be happening, and a lot of it's going to be stopped though before it ever gets any momentum, because there is people out there watching this, waiting for it. Just then they're also going to have a lot of cameras on those people that are doing the counting, and just like they always do, but they're just going to be extra careful this time, because we know that in 2016 there was definitely shenanigans, and they did try to pull it off in 2020. It just didn't work.
They tried to do it in 2012 when Fox News called it for Obama in 2012. There were like 3 of the pundits on air that were all immediately arguing with, no, that's not right. That's not how the outcome's going to be.
I remember that exactly. Sure.
Yeah.
And it was like, what the hell are you talking about? And just the way they were phrasing it, it sent all my red flags up. I was like,
it sent mine up, and I thought, what the heck are they doing? What are they talking about? But yes.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I got the high just reversed. So we're looking at it's I think that they're going to want to be careful and not I think that they could see it as secrets being revealed, but at the same time they also don't want to look like they're being if you do it I can do it kind of childish thing. I think they're gonna challenge when they really feel there's a need to. My worry is they may let too many try to slip through without challenging. But then I got the Page of Pentacles, and so there, we're talking about be careful what you're asking for, because you're going to get it. It's that manifesting power, and so they need to be ready to back up what they've been saying all this time. And if that means challenging an outcome, then they need to challenge an outcome. And then the last thing I got was the moon, which, secrets can hide in the moon, but the moon also illuminates things. It just, you have to look a little deeper in order to see what's there. And I think that's what it's telling us, to be prepared, that we're going to have to look just a little bit different to see what's there. That's what I got.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gerald.
So I got, the question, will any one of the Democratic states challenge an outcome of an election in court? I got to know. And the reason I got to know is because there's a whole lot of things being done to slow the ability for the fraud.
Right.
They're working really, really hard at that. And it is getting so much press. Like somebody said, there are going to be cameras everywhere. And it's just going to be another, am I allowed to say, nail in the coffin that of things that are not, staying around. So
I like that, Gerald, because what I'm envisioning and what I think is a possibility here in Nevada, for instance, you have to, when you pull a ballot and you look at the signature, and they actually sent paperwork out to have everybody rewrite their signature if they feel their writing has changed. I have, of course, left my signature the way I've always left it. I said,
Yep.
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. So all of a sudden, you got your people lining up, checking signatures, checking, oh, this is irregular. Oh, this is irregular. Oh, this is irregular. And the people, gosh, let's hope that the people that cure them,
Yeah.
will really do so in a timely and proper manner, that they resolve it and those votes are counted. Do you know how many things they want to throw ballots out for the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life? So, I mean, I am reading my instructions really over and over and over because I'm scared to fill it out and do it wrong because there's so many new little weird rules.
I did the same thing the last several elections.
It's like it's like they're trying to trick me. And if I put one mark anywhere on the paper that doesn't belong there, if you initial anywhere on the paper, there's a whole bunch of rules that may have been there from the beginning, but I don't remember reading any of that stuff and being so scared to fill something out.
Yeah. I think that I don't think it will necessarily be Democratic states challenging the outcome. But I do see that there will be some states, most likely red states, where the outcomes will be challenged, whether it's from the Democrats or a Democratic group or not. I don't know. But I'm getting very strongly that there's going to be real challenges, especially in the states where they have been monkeying around with the voting laws to death. And that's where there's going to be big challenges. And I think that Florida and Georgia are again going to be in the spotlight. I think, Arizona, I think, is put to bed. They got so burned on all of the recounts and all this. They said, hell no, we're never going there again. So I'm sure that their election is going to be super, super safe. And I think, most of the states further out west, I think they are pretty safe. But I think that Georgia, did I say North Carolina? Let's throw them in too, because that just came out of my mouth. And Florida, those three, I would watch those because that's where I think that there might be challenges to the outcome. And I think the outcome will be, the card that I got was the Wheel of Fortune. So it could be that they were promoting this challenge, hoping to benefit Trump, and it will instead benefit Kamala. That's what I'm seeing.
You're probably right about that. That sounds good. I'm sorry,
It's
Cleo.
those electoral states that we really ought to be concerned about. And those that I can see it, that's the concentration of people that are going to be coming in to try to make sure everything is done above board, normally, legally, the whole thing. It's kind of like what Gerald was saying, and that those states are really on top of this. Hopefully, because if they screw up on those states, we're all in trouble.
But you're not hearing as much about it. But those states, the southeast corner, including Texas of the United States, those states have been just perpetually, here's my word, fucking with the voting laws since the last election. And trying to make it harder for people to vote, taking people off the voter rolls, getting rid of polling, getting rid of voting places, getting rid of, intimidating the people who watch the polls. They have just been, what I just said, effing around with all of the voting laws and people and procedures. And those are the states, I think, that are going to be, they may land on somewhat a safe electoral process, but the process of allowing people to vote, maybe that will be challenged. I don't know, but I see that there will be challenges.
They were screwing around with the people that are working at the polls, the poll people.
Yeah,
they're threatening them, not just all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't think in Washington, because we're much too cool to be having something like that.
Well, that is why everybody needs to watch the Reveal the Future about safety for everyone voting, especially the people who are voting
Mhm.
in the in the voting booth against what the people around them are voting, how they are
And those poll
expected to
workers,
vote. So, and everybody needs to, when you stand in line, just, be smile, be radiating, and don't be yanking anybody's chain.
and for married women especially, double check in your state as opposed to what's legally put on your driver's license or ID card and
Mhm.
what's acceptable on your voter's registration, because a lot of states have started putting in for like a woman's name, instead of first name, middle name, whatever her married last name is, they've started putting in her first name, her
Maiden
birth
name.
name, and then her
Oh my
maiden
God,
name,
you're
and
making my
then her
head
married
hurt.
name.
Who would
Yeah.
And it was
oh,
like your birth certificate, everything will say first, middle, last, but your ID will say first, maiden, current
And think about it. This is
on your
the part
name,
of the
and they
United
will turn
States.
you and say, "Well, that doesn't match."
Yeah, and this is the part of the United States where they've been through 150 tornadoes and hurricanes and fires and floods and everything else. Who has their damn birth
I
certificate?
mean,
Nobody has that.
seriously,
Nobody
really?
even has their original social security card anymore.
Oh
I mean,
my
because they've
gosh.
lost
I
it
do.
all in these disasters.
Now, mine
Yeah.
here in Nevada says
But
it must match your passport.
Yeah, in
That's a
Or your
god.
like
driver-
as far
or
as
your
birth
driver's
certificate, when I requested a copy of my birth certificate in my 20s, I was sent a card, like an ID card, a birth
Yeah.
card,
hmm
Oh,
and that's how it came to me, and it was
Yeah.
notarized and everything.
Yeah.
oh, wow.
And I mean, I have at times when I've had to use it, had
Yeah.
people question it. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
talk to the state of Louisiana. That's
Yeah.
how they
Yeah.
issue it. That's
I had
it's
one of those
certified.
too, and it got stolen. So I had to get another one. And that was the last time I had to renew my passport. I had to actually get another copy of my birth certificate. And it was
Oh,
just
wow.
an ordeal. But so anyway, so yeah, there is going to be some kind of kerfuffle about this after
Mhm.
in a that's just, challenging the votes on a kind of like normal civilian level. But then there's also going to be the Trump level where they, even if Trump isn't actively participating in it, all of his minions will be. And that's going to be a whole other level of crazy going on after the election, I think.
For sure. For
So,
sure.
sure, Seascape, yeah, kind of, sort of, yeah. The answer. All right. So what else we got here? Does anybody have to
Book had a
go?
question.
Hold up one, Sherry. Does anybody have to go right away? Are you guys
No,
good?
I got about 15 more minutes.
15 more minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
great. All right, let's hit it. Did you see
Uh,
Trump tried to bribe Stormy Daniels into an NDA?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. And she ran circles around him.
Oh, man.
She
I
ran
mean,
circles around him. She had her
really
attorney
did.
go back to, and do you know how he was able to do that? He didn't just out of the blue do it. She somehow lost a case where she ended up having to pay him for legal fees or something.
Yeah.
And so she owed him this money, and she had asked that she not be forced to pay this money until after the New York trial was over, because she knew she was going to invoke a lot of other legal fees.
Yeah.
So that's done. So now they're coming after her for that money, and it's like 6 times what she originally owed, but never mind that. And so when they came to her, she was trying to negotiate it down.
Mhm.
And he said, "Oh, okay, we'll let you pay a lesser amount." And they quoted an amount. I don't remember what it was. And they said, "As long as you sign an NDA saying that you'll never speak about this again." And her attorney, she spoke to her attorney and she said, "Hell no, I'm not going to sign that. That is what the
She
case
already
is
lived
all
through that.
about."
That's why she has to pay off
Yeah,
the money.
yeah. So
But
they
I,
went,
but I
Go-
pulled the card, and here she is. She's the knight who's
Yeah.
going into, that's her in this
absolutely,
situation.
absolutely. So she had her attorney go back and say, "No, we're not going to sign the NDA." And then they said, "Okay, how about this amount?" And they said, "No, how about this amount?" And they took that amount. But did y'all know that Stormy Daniels was doing stand-up comedy?
No.
no.
Yeah, I just heard that.
She's sharp as a tack. She'd be
Yeah, she
funny.
is.
You know,
That's
she
one
has
smart
wit.
business lady. I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
smart businesswoman. Absolutely. She's been a writer, director, and everything for all of those films that she does and is a success at it. So
Yeah.
obviously,
And from
she
what I
is
read
smart.
about her,
Yeah.
she's done it even when she was the director and or the producer
Yes,
for the
exactly.
films that she makes.
Yeah.
She's always done it and treated the people doing it very
Yes.
respectfully.
Yes, she
And
is.
you know,
Mhm.
and treat them like they're actually doing something legitimate and nothing wrong, because in her mind there is nothing wrong about it.
Yeah.
So, you know, people have a lot of people
Well,
in
she
that
just
business have a lot
it's a
of good things to
performance.
say about her.
It's a performance.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
doing a
yeah, yeah.
performance.
Well, and so
Absolutely.
for everybody that's trying to figure a way out to kickstart their careers, you might just step back from the university and go ahead and go into the porn business, because it seems like Stormy Daniels is a good example of how many places it can take you. I
Well,
mean,
That's right.
Pamela Anderson did, and look at how famous she became from Baywatch and then all the other
true,
books she's
true.
done. So there are many of them that got a start.
If they
you know.
actually have a modicum of talent, usually
They
they do
do.
get past that, you know.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And
All right. We got another question?
well, this is one from Heather, but we kind of already
We
talked
covered
about this
that.
at
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Heather, go back to the beginning of the show if you missed it
Yeah.
and see that. And same with the other one
This, yep.
with my
We
book.
answered this one.
We've already
too.
discussed that
Mhm,
as well.
mhm.
So
And let's
this
see.
is Shari Freeberry wanted to know, will we ever see an end to the Heritage Foundation and all of the horror that they have planned?
No, it's not going away anytime soon. And what might happen is they might change the name. Something like that,
Yeah.
but they're not going to change their position. They're not going to change what they're trying to do, and they're not going to stop, no matter who ends up being president. So this is a bad thing, because this is partly why the Republican Party is just imploding, and that really bothers me, because I'm not a Republican, but we need a two-party system, if not at least even a three-party system. And the Heritage Foundation is ruining it by making it Trumpism, basically. And that's, that will change eventually. But these people, no, they're sticking together.
You know what? These cards are hilarious. So it's really all about, I don't know why they keep going to Russia with that, but here's the answer. They're not going to see the forest for the trees, that people aren't interested in this project 2025, and they'll change the name next time, whatever year it is. They're going to keep going, but Russia's involved. That they laid an egg that's never going to hatch. It's about the divine feminine and the crap they're doing to the divine feminine in this world. It's not going to fly. We're going to flip it over, it's done. But they're never going to go away, because
Right.
they don't see the forest for the trees.
They've been around since Reagan. I mean, and
they're blind to what.
I agree totally with you, Val. Yes.
Well, and something I think a lot of people don't realize is, I mean, a lot of this started like back during FDR's days, when he first started the move for Social Security and whatnot to build up the middle class. And at that point, the oligarchs, that's when they were like, no, we got to put a stop to this. And they've been steadily working at it. And you have to give the Republicans credit. They started 50, 60 years ago at the bottom of the rung, dog catcher, local postmaster, whatever, to get their people in and just steadily moving up the chain. And so now you have a lot of these states and whatnot where most of the people may be very liberal in their thinking, but they've got nothing but these very conservative people in leadership with no way of seeming to be able to get rid of them. And if they do get rid of one, and get a progressive person in there, they're so overwhelmed by everything hitting them that they're basically made useless. It's going to take a long time.
I like
to
that
clean it out.
imagery, Shari, of them, all these normal people in a business or a huge company, and then all the supervisors and the people that run it, and maybe even the people that own it, are all part of that Heritage Foundation.
Right.
We have been sitting here not realizing it all this time. And I believe you're right. It's been going on for, I don't know when it was founded, but it's been going
Surely,
on.
I'm going on memory here, but it seems like I had read in the past that a lot of this stuff started up like right around FDR, like
There
after
you
the
go.
war,
Yeah, that's
when
a
he
long
started
ass
trying
time.
to
Well, that might have been
rebuild us.
the actual Heritage Foundation stems from Reagan's reign, and President Reagan wasn't particularly embracing it, but the base of it for this Heritage Foundation began then. I'm not saying that there was a step beforehand, but
so here's what they say on this online. The Heritage Foundation was founded on February 16th, 1973, during the Nixon administration, but they weren't in the Nixon administration like they were in the Reagan administration, by Paul Weyrich, Edwin Fulner, and Joseph Coors. That's a familiar name.
I bet you if you read on that, you'd find out they didn't have a name before, but they were doing things like
exactly.
Said.
Exactly.
They were namelessly getting people into place.
Yeah.
The book that I read about it was somebody that's like been researching this, who was trying to get people to wake up to the fact that this isn't brand new, people. They've been doing this for several lifetimes of us.
Yeah.
So Shari, sorry, Shari.
Go ahead.
So to answer the question, no. I'm doing readings and I'm listening to everybody, but will we ever see the end? No, because it will morph, it will change. This is the way society unfortunately operates.
Yep. And they think that there's nothing wrong with what they think it's great. They don't see the great evil that they are. Oh, they're not evil. They don't see the restriction as a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah. With the Heritage Foundation, the whole point of it is that they're religious zealots.
Yes.
They're not, they don't give a shit about logic or fairness or even really politics.
Women.
They just don't like a lot of different kinds of people. They really don't like them. And they really feel that they are supreme to them in every way, and that their God supports this.
Yeah.
So there's no getting somebody moderate in there. No, nothing. It's going to keep going, because hate begets hate begets hate, and it just keeps rolling like a stupid effing snowball. But the zealotry that is involved with this group is just enough. Even if there's only 4 of them in a basement, they'll keep going.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there is so much money from their supporters that they've got enough money to go to at least 2060, 2070. I mean, they just
look at all the blood that has been shed over the centuries in the support of this is what God wants us to do. This is what God has told us to do.
That's right.
I mean, you've had groups of people killing each other for centuries over it. Thousands of years it's been going on.
Because people are nutso. They're nutso.
They are nutso.
Go ahead.
I asked if they were part of the Illuminati kind of thing, that kind of deep craziness about religious zealot.
And it's got a connection.
I got the key. Then I asked,
so they are part of the Illuminati?
Yeah. It's all interconnected.
They're all
That's what this book said.
I asked the skull and crossbones part of the whole thing, and I got the dancing shoes. So these organizations are interwoven as part of this. I'm saying the members have that fervor, have that,
Yeah.
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, that kind of, I'm going to whip my back because torturing myself is divine ecstasy.
That's it. That's
Yes.
it.
And to what you were just said, Val. Yes, Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
I got
There
the,
will be nut jobs forever. You can be sure of that. However, nut jobs do grow old and die.
yes.
Can I say that again? Nut
Yeah.
jobs do grow old and die. And,
Yes, they do.
it couldn't happen to a nicer group.
Yes. Yes. I agree with you.
Couldn't happen to a nicer group. Okay. I think that about wraps it up for us. Thank you all for playing my favorite game, PoliTarology. Be sure and give us a thumbs up on the video and be sure to recommend it to your friends. Share it with your friends. Hopefully, we'll get a whole shit ton of views on it. That would be great. Be sure to subscribe to everybody's
got-
channel.
250 people in the room, so
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you,
Nice.
chatters. That's great. And I hope that all of you are subscribed not only to my channel, but to everybody's channel, because everybody
Yes.
sitting on this panel is putting out so much amazing content. And if you're not visiting their
Absolutely.
channels at least a couple times a week, if not every day, you are really missing out, because there's just a ton of free, wonderful information going on out there. And be sure to vote. Let's all remember to observe the advent of Saint Buttigieg, because that is
Yes.
what we do. And if you don't know what that is, please go back and watch the beginning of this video where I give a very, very special explanation.
It's
See,
so
we have the
mind
candle
blowing.
burning.
It's great.
Your candle is all over the place. All right, everybody. We will see you. Will we see you in a couple of weeks? When will we see you? 3 weeks, I think. No? Do we know?
Let's see.
Can I
Today
figure
is
it
the
out?
18th
18th. Yeah, 2 weeks. Because the first ends
into
up
November
right there.
1st,
Yeah. So we will see you
the
just a
Friday
few days,
before election.
just a few days before election. So exciting.
So-
Okay. All right, everybody, hang in there. And the advent of
Vote,
Saint
vote,
Buttigieg,
vote.
may his blessings be upon you.